Yo, what's up, everybody? I know it's been a minute, but let's just get right back into it, okay? This is sitting shotgun during a robbery, okay? So, we're gonna go all the way back to like 2010 era, okay? I had only been at my third high school for like a couple months, man. But by the time I got there, I mean, I was only in still like going through 10th grade, but I was pretty seasoned when it came to the game of, you know, slanging and all that shit, whatever. So this happened like at the school that I went to, like Redondo. Redondo is a school I went to. If you aren't familiar with it, think of if you've ever seen the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Very similar. That's how I always felt when I was there because we could just leave. Like we would leave at snack, we leave at lunch, we leave in between classes. Like we would just go just to like smoke a cigarette real quick. So that's what was going on this day. Okay, so the crazy part is though, like where I grew up, like I grew up way the fuck away from Redondo. Okay, but there was somebody that lived across the street from me where I lived in the harbor area and like off Western and shit, way the fuck away. And I remember like he would have like pictures and other stuff from like Redondo type shit, like when I was still living over there. So when I got over to the school, it's like once again I'm here and I don't I didn't grow up with any of these fools, you know. So some of them looked familiar though because I played a lot of sports as a kid, so it was weird seeing these kids like 10 years later and shit that like their name rings a bell and they look familiar as shit, but like it's only because I knew them when I was like 8 or I don't know how old I was, but so I was with my friend Nick. Okay, just remember Nick and Rick. Okay, that's all that's really gonna matter for this. Okay, so we leave school and like there would usually be a good amount of us. I don't know, maybe like 5 people, not too many, but we had a little spot that was right across the street inside these apartment complex, and like that was just it was the easy place to go, smoke one real quick, go right back. Like fuck, man, I can't tell you how many blunts and cigarettes I smoked right there in that little apartment, just in the hours of school taking place, because at Redondo, you could just leave. Like they did everything online, so nobody was gonna like call and say like, "Hey, this person wasn't in class." So it was pretty chill. You could literally just ditch whenever you wanted to. And like the two other schools I went to before that wasn't like that at all, man. I ditched one time from West High, and I got a fucking Saturday school, which I never ended up doing. But I was just like, God damn, like I did not last very long, you know. So, anyways, um, we leave and we go to the spot I was just talking about. We're smoking a cigarette. Maybe like a couple other people are there, but the thing is other people have to go like back to school for like the last class of the day because they do block scheduling at Redondo. So they do Monday you go to all your classes for like an hour, then like Tuesday, like every other day you'd go like first, third, fifth. Then the next day you'd go 2, 4, 6. It's like block scheduling or whatever. Definitely like that was definitely something to get used to as well. I was not used to that. But so bunch of backstory, whatever. We go to the spot and we're smoking, and someone that I had met, you know, I hit the ground running when I got to Redondo of just like, yo, who needs it? Like, I was literally like trying to network as much as I possibly could. And I think I did a fairly good job. And so we go to smoke a cigarette. And the reason I brought up where I used to live and all that stuff is my neighbor, he lived across the street from me. And he was the one that had like been going to schools in Redondo and shit. So like this fool ended up like he was in the group that day. Okay, like we're all the same age. He might be like a year older or something. I don't remember, but his mom worked for like Think and like Independent, which are like Think is an OG skate brand. Like not a lot of people know about it. I know it's really like a niche. I don't know, niche, whatever the fuck. It's just a smaller company that I don't know. Robin Williams, there's a picture of him wearing a Think hat during like an interview or something. I thought that was pretty cool. But anyways, so this guy Rick is like, yo, my uncle wants to get like let's just say 2 ounces. My uncle wants to get 2 ounces. And my friend Nick is like, all right, for sure. Like, I got that. Like, you want to go like handle it? So he asked me, I remember I'm just standing there. I'm smoking a cigarette. And he's like, yo, you want to come with me? I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? Like, I wasn't going to go. Everybody else who was going to go back to school had to like walk over back to school. So that's why he asked me, because I think I said I wasn't going to go back, you know? So we drive. Like, he's like, all right, just take me over here and my uncle will meet up with us and then we can handle it. And he's like, all right, cool. And it was like around the corner from where we were. So we drive and we pull up at this smoke shop. And we pull up at this smoke shop and then the guy Rick, he's like, all right, I'm going to go get my uncle. Just like stay right here. And then we're like, all right, whatever. So he leaves, walks across the streets to where all these apartments are. And when he's coming back, like I remember like, you know, me and my friend Nick are just like talking, you know. I don't know everybody that well, but this guy Rick, he was the guy that lived across the street from me. Like we would ride bikes together and like, you know, just like shit like that. Like before I moved in 6th grade, like he was like really the only person that was in my neighborhood because I lived like 30 minutes away from where I went to elementary school in Gardena. So like, you know, I was like, oh shit, like running into this fool again and his cousin, like people that I've seen like as like a child that I was like, oh cool, whatever. You know, I didn't think too much of it. But when this fool comes back from the apartments, he comes back and I remember like out of the corner of my eye, I saw him and this other guy. And this other guy, this fool looked like somebody who just walked straight out of American History X. No lie. I swear to God. Like, that's like the best way I could describe it. Like, fucking, he had like tattoos and he just had this like angry vibe. Like, I could feel it. Not that I'm just like, ooh, crystals and like, he just like, you know, you can just feel it with some people. I don't know. Maybe not everybody's like that. So they get in the car and like this fool, he's all tatted up. He's like, he looked like he was like 21 or something. And like, remember, I knew this guy and kind of like his family, whatever. Like I had met one of his uncles. I didn't know if that was the one that like I wasn't like doing too much thinking, you know what I mean? But like I did know this guy Rick's uncle. But hey, he could have more than one uncle, whatever. Like that's what I'm telling myself. But when I saw them walk back across, I was like, nah, like this fool's like fucking like 20, dude. He's not your like I just didn't believe it. So whatever. They get in the car. We're driving. And like my friend Nick, he's just driving like in the neighborhood, like around a block of like around some apartments, whatever. Like he was just trying to like do the transaction real quick, you know. So where he fucked up was, I mean, but it's hard to explain of like fucking up, but you'll see. He's like, yo, can we check it out? Right there, I was like, hey, I mean, like in my mind, I'm like, I wouldn't do that, but like, you know, that wasn't my deal, wasn't my situation, whatever. So he hands back the bag with like 2 ounces in it, and I wasn't driving. My friend Nick is driving. I'm not driving. So like I have a better view kind of, but like still not really. The uncle guy sat behind me and then the guy Rick sat behind him. So I had a better eye on the guy that we went to school with. So he hands back the weed and we're driving around in this like circle. And then he's like, so where are you guys from? And then I didn't say anything, you know, and he's like, Torrance. And then the guy kind of like looks like he like looks left and then right, like kind of like that, and like kind of looks over at Rick, and he's like, well, I think you should go back to Torrance and sell that shit. And then like we're still just like driving, kind of. My friend Nick's like, okay. And he's like, all right, then let me get the herb back. And then all of a sudden, just everything changed very fast. And then it was all of a sudden the guy who was behind me from our school, he's like, stop the car, man. Just stop the car. And he's like, what? Like, what the fuck? Like, maybe, I don't know what his relationship was with this other dude or whatever. I have no idea what it was. But, like, it definitely caught my friend Nick off guard for sure. And he's just like, what? Like, nah. He's like, let me get the like the bread or the cash, whatever. He says something like that. And this fool, he's like, just stop the car, man. It's gonna be worse for you if you don't stop the car. And like, I'm just sitting there, like, hey, whatever happens, happens. Like, I wasn't telling him, like, yo, pull over, man, come on, please. Like, I was, whatever happens, happens. I was sitting there, but I wasn't about to just fucking, you know. So, this motherfucker in the back seat reaches back into the car, and I guess my friend Nick, like, he had his golf clubs in the back of his car, because, like, sometimes we'd go to the driving range or, like, play at this little 9-hole at Sierra or whatever the fuck. So, but sometimes we golf or hit some balls, whatever. So this fool reaches back and grabs like a golf club as they like hop out, and he grabs like a golf club as they hop out, and he's like trying to like be like kind of like threatening with it or whatever, but like he grabs it as they're getting out of the car, and he's just like holding it kind of like a club or some shit. And my friend Nick, he drives and he does a U-turn real quick because he had to turn around because they were trying to like go to like down this like alley or whatever, because there's all these little apartments that you could just kind of disappear in right there. So he does a U-turn, and he like, I remember like the like he like skidded out like and like flipped around, and then he's going straight at this fool Rick, and this fool takes the golf club and he's like swinging it like a baseball bat, like this, like just like set like pretty much saying like, yo, if you get close enough, I'll fucking smack your car with this. And I'm pretty sure he tried to like swing it at the car, but that made my friend Nick like swerve out of his way and like miss him. And then they ended up like disappearing into this little like area that like was right there. And you know like after that, like my friend Nick was definitely pissed. And like I can't remember if it was an ounce or 2 ounces, but it was at least an ounce. Okay, but it wasn't like that big of a deal. Like, I don't know, to me it was just an ounce. Like, you can always get it back, but nobody knew that shit was about to go down. So he like ends up dropping me off at my homie Kevin's house, and because he got on the phone immediately, and he's calling like his sister had like a boyfriend who was like in some gang. Like, he was like his sister was like in her 20s or something or whatever. And like, I just remember him going and picking up this fool that like he was some kind of like islander, or maybe he was Hispanic, something like that. He had a lot of tattoos, and he was a lot older than we. I was like 15. We were both like 15, 16 at this time. This fool was probably like close to like 30. And like, he's like explaining the situation to him and shit. And like, basically they were gonna drop me off and then go like hunting like for those guys. So that's where it ended for me. He dropped me off at like I don't know. I don't know if he didn't want me to be there. I wasn't like, yo, I don't want none of this, dude. Drop me off. Like, he just, I guess he thought it was easier or something. So he drops me off at my homie's house, and then my homie's house was like on the way to the same area that we were in. So when he went to go pick up his sister's boyfriend, they came back that way, and then he was like, yo, like, can I drop you somewhere? I don't know what's about to happen, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, whatever. So he drops me at my homie Kevin's house, and that's where it ends for me. But that was like one of the first situations that I saw at Redondo like that. I'd seen plenty of shit like that in Torrance, even in like North Torrance where I went my second high school. Like, I seen some stuff, but not really. That school was fucking weak, dude. That school was so soft. And Redondo was like, it was definitely different. Like, there was like the Wild West. Like, you could, man, like, just at school, you could end up coming to school and leaving with a bunch of like, you just never knew what was gonna happen, which I thought was kind of cool, honestly. Like, and any chance that we could leave, we would leave. Like, that's just how it was. But anyways, just wanted to get you guys back with a story. I know it's been a minute. My bad. I don't feel like anybody's too like, oh my god, I was watching all your content, man. What happened? But hey, if you were, then shit, my bad. But I'm gonna be back, and I just wanted to come back with this little story. Nothing crazy, just a very interesting thing that, like people fucking change. That's for damn sure, Like I spent so much time with the guy that robbed this fool compared to the person who got robbed, of just like knowing them, like, and like I didn't expect. I thought he was just gonna go make the sale. We were gonna come back, and it was gonna be all good. And like I didn't expect that shit to happen at all. I was just smoking a cigarette, minding my own business. I had nothing to do with it. So, anyways, that's enough for me for today. But yeah, I'm gonna be back posting shorts, all that shit. I needed to kind of compose myself, cut my hair, cut my beard, so I don't look like a fucking homeless person. So, anyways, I'm still here. I still got my injuries and shit, so I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. So, yeah, I'm gonna be hitting up the content for sure. So, if you came here and if you want to hear more, please subscribe or like or comment, whatever. But you already know, money's not my motivation here. I just like entertaining people. I have a shitload of stories, and I don't mind telling them to everybody else. And I'm gonna be on a podcast in like 2 months, and I was kind of tripping, like, damn, like, should I tell that story? Should I not? Should I save that one? But I have so much shit. Like, it's just there's infinite shit for me to talk about of stories like this, and way more intense. Like, this was just a very this was like my first couple of weeks like at this school, so I was still feeling it out, meeting people, trying to make connections, whatever. So anyways, I hope you liked the story. It's not like, it is what it is, and it was what it was, so it's all good. So anyways, I'm gonna be signing off, so peace.